Good morning. This is Trans Talk podcast episode number 8. We're in the lovely Royo campsite. We've just been through the kloof. Last night we were up on the Mac on the previous episode. And we've had a good morning so far. We've had some coffee at least. I had a quick rinse of the faces. Harold, how did you sleep last night?
Yeah, pretty good. I think nice and quiet, obviously, yeah. But pretty good sleep. I think we had to work a bit last night up Mac. Sleep was good. Good.
And talking about sleep, Harold, it's quite an important part of training and exercise not that you can't exercise in your sleep, but it's an important recovery element. Tell us a bit more about recording sleep and what role sleep plays in this sort of sport that we do.
Yeah, I think first of all, looking at sleep per se, I think a lot of us don't sleep enough. We tend not to get to the 7 to 9 hours, which is the recommended norm for most of us. So we should consistently try and get 7 to 9 hours a night. And it's probably your cheapest recovery tool when it comes to training, and the one that is probably the most important next to nutrition. I think sleep's probably more important in some cases. But with our hectic lifestyles these days, we tend to neglect it. Fortunately, we have devices that you can simply wear while you're sleeping, recording the sleep process, how well you've recovered, looking at some heart rate metrics like resting heart rate variability through the night to see have you truly recovered. I can give you my own example from last night. I had a really good sleep from the sleep metrics perspective. Yeah. How much deep sleep I had, how much REM sleep I had, how many hours, 7.5 hours. So all those were really good, but my heart rate metrics weren't fantastic. So overall the recovery wasn't 100%. It could have been better. But I think obviously it's not the normal bed, it's not the normal mattress, that type of thing.
Are you not going to blame it on the red wine there?
Maybe a little bit, yeah, maybe a little bit. And I think one of the big things to bear in mind with sleep is to try and get consistency. Yeah. Going to bed at a similar time every night, waking up at a similar time every morning, and that way your body will get into a rhythm based on the circadian rhythms you have in your body as well to aid that whole recovery process.
And it's, I think we said just before we started talking to camera, it is the best recovery thing you can do, and it's for free. There's no better drug, if you want to call it that, than sleep for helping your performance.
Exactly. Have some idea how long you've slept for, but essentially it's a very natural process, and it's a free recovery tool. But it's very necessary.
Yeah. Harold, I think we need to talk about this washing line of us here in the back of us. I think we decided it's an appropriate time to talk about your gear and your clothing that we would be wearing. We just got some campers here in the background as well. I don't know why they're hooting. Maybe there's a buffalo. Anyway, let's go into this washing line of ours. And clothing, like I said, it's quite an important element of the Trans Baviaans. As we know, it's a wilderness area. We've been saying this now for quite some time in this show, and that conditions change quickly. As soon as you come into the mountainous area, the wind picks up, it can get cold. As the sun sets, the conditions change again. You're going to ride through the night. You're starting at 10 a.m., which is it might be quite nice conditions, or it can be really cold and windy and wet conditions as well. So we've had all of it over the years, and it's just preparing yourself for whatever conditions get thrown at you in this race. We've got the facilities of the checkpoints where you can send some of this gear to that checkpoints in your crates, and you can access better gear for that thing or for whatever happens in that weather conditions. So I think typically, we want to run through this whole range from Chivita because they've really upped their game in terms of the product that there is available now for a ride like this. But also I think, Harold, maybe after we've gone through it, we can also just talk about what you would typically ride with and what would your recommendations be. I think for us, you know, we all need to ride in a cycling jersey. This is the new design that's going to be available for this year, for 23, highlighting the rock formations of the Baviaans Kloof, and that's our new jersey for 2023. But then your bib choice. I mean, there's two big contact points in a bike ride. It's your pedals and your ass on the saddle, you know. And I really like these cargo bibs that are being made by Chivita at the moment. I think let's check that out and just show you guys these side pockets of the bib is really useful to just have your gels, your goos in there.
Easy access.
Easy access. Yeah. And you've got another set of pockets in the back of it as well, right here. Maybe let's just get it. It's a bit dirty. We did ride last night and we did go for a swim in the river with our bib shorts on. And these pockets here are really nice. So you've got two pockets on your back and the pockets on the side of the bib. And this is the Apex version of the Chivita bib. This chamois is, yeah.
Before you move on, just from the back pockets, these back pockets are super handy to put possibly your spares and your tools in, so you free up your back pockets on your shirt. And that's why I think I use them as well, and they're super nice and accessible. And if you do have to get to these back pockets, you don't have to be a contortionist to get there. It's fairly easy to access. They're the same level as your back pockets on the cycling shirt. So
yeah, and it's
super practical.
It tends to keep things tighter with heavier things, where your shirt will drag a bit, where you can then also keep your food in your shirt, and have these side pockets is a game changer. The Apex range from Chivita is really next level. The chamois in here is really thought out. It's been tested. It's a great bib, and my go-to bib to ride with. I'm just going to hang that there. Then, Harold, that's actually your personal undershirt.
Yeah.
And it's a Merino Wool undershirt, and I think that is the technology that's come out of natural fiber like wool. And Merino Wool more specifically is amazing what it actually brings to you. And I think, I don't know how scientifically correct this would be, but if you think about merino sheep, they in the heat of summer, especially here in the Baviaans Kloof, it's actually quite a popular up in the farming community side. Merino and mohair is the two biggest producing animal products from this area. And the merino sheep, if you think about it, in summer they cool, and in winter they warm. Mm-hmm. And it's that regulation that the wool fiber brings to a garment like that. Yeah. And having that as an undershirt against your body, it really is a complete game changer for riding in variance of the climate as you move. So like we said in the beginning, going from a hot start possibly or cold start and going to a hotter later on the ride, it just helps your body to regulate.
Yeah.
Undershirt in general is a good idea.
Very good idea, yeah.
Whether it's a merino wool one or not, it's a really good idea to have an undershirt. And it just helps you prepare for that. I think we're moving towards moving towards your side, but while you hold that, I just want to also go, I think socks are sometimes a really underrated thing that nobody talks about, and people just tend to put socks on and ride. Yeah. But these from Chivita is also made from merino, which is really a nifty little thing to have a merino, that regulation thing on it. And then also, you know, any other good quality cycling sock is quite an important sock element to your ride.
I think also considering that the socks will get wet, you obviously want that warmth at a certain point with the socks. No harm in having a spare pair of socks maybe at Bergplaats in your crate to put on a dry pair, but you are going to get wet. Just accept that. There's no overshoes that are going to protect you from that and these will obviously keep your feet a little bit warmer.
Yeah. I think that one of the one of the elements from socks in the earlier years with the long water crossing, we always saw people putting plastic bags over their shoes to do the crossing and to make sure their feet stay dry. The problem with these water crossings in the Baviaans Kloof is in a wet year we could have 60 and in a dry year we could have 6, and it's gonna happen. Your feet are gonna get wet, and it's just trying to figure out how you work with that.
Yeah. So speaking of getting wet, obviously one of also a compulsory item is a rain jacket or a wind jacket, and they've got a very neat, nicely folds into its own pocket rain jacket. And yeah, I think for me this is a crucial element. Maybe you want to pull that out there.
I'm especially excited about this product. I think a proper rain jacket. This has got a 10,000 millimeter waterproof rating, which it's quite high, and it's really great. It's super lightweight, really thin. You just saw how small it folded away, so it's an easy thing to throw into your back pocket to ride with from the start all the way through to the finish. And you know, we've just been discussing it, Harold. I almost feel that this is something I would start with, have it with me at all times, and ride through all the way through, because it's a nice jacket to keep. It's I wouldn't even go with a gilet or arm warmers. I would just have that and put that on and off. And an important thing about these jackets is that, okay, first of all, the zipper is a sealed zipper, and second of all, it's a two-way zipper. So what really helps is that you can actually zip it open and close. Maybe I must just put it on and show you how it works. But what really is great about that is that you can zip up completely like that, but when you start getting warm, you can just zip from the bottom up again
and get access to your pockets.
Get access to your pockets in the back, and also just flare, if you're getting hot, you just flare some wind into you. And that two-way zipper is really great to have, and it's such a nice fitted jacket. And then the other element is this hood is made to be an under helmet hood, so it can work under your helmet, which is really great. So that's a really great jacket.
And keep you warm.
And keep
your
you
head
warm.
Yeah.
Keep your head warm and keep your head dry. Cool. I think let's move on to this product here. That might have been a bit noisy on the microphone there with that jacket coming on and off. So this is when we have conditions like we had last year. When it's really cold, it's the weather is windy and wet and cold. This is a really nice product, and this is something I would typically throw into maybe Bergplaats box if it's not a cold morning start. But you've got a down protected front core that protects you, and then at the back it's got this mesh that's really like nice and breathable, and it works really well. You've got your normal pockets access to this jacket, and it's also got the two-way zipper, and it's got this down, like I said, and this is a really nice, warm and comfortable jacket. If it's really cold, I would probably put this on top of me and have the rain jacket to protect it and keep it dry under it as well. Cool.
Speaking of adverse weather conditions, I mean, one of the things about zippers is if they can get clogged as well with sand and mud and things
all
like
of that.
So always make sure you have a good quality garment that has a zipper. Obviously, only the test will tell in an event, or maybe you can go out and experience a bit of mud and sand and see how well your clothing zippers work. Because if you can't zip them up and down to ventilate, then yeah, it can become a bit of a problem.
And it's a simple thing while you're standing and testing it in a shop or something. But riding your bike, it's your handlebars are going that you only have one hand. To have a zipper that works quick and easy in that regard is really.
Yeah, and I can assure you, all these zippers on the Chia Vita kit they do work in mud.
Right, then we've got the classic gilet. I think most cyclists understand and know a gilet. It is a handy product to have. It's also got more of a breathable back, and it's also got the more of a windbreaker type material in the front, and it really super lightweight,
small, yeah.
and it just protects your core, and I think that's always something to think about. We've got a good quality heart rate strap in here, and because we doing washing, we just have that to show that you need to do your washing every now and again.
A lot of guys forget to wash them.
You need to wash them.
Obviously take the sensor off, but you can put them in the washing machine every couple of weeks with your cycling kit. It's actually what's recommended when it comes to electrode belt.
Yeah. Okay, you picked up something there.
Yeah, the winter gloves, or the warmer winter gloves. Again, depending on weather conditions, most of us will just use standard cycling gloves, whether it's long finger, short finger. But you might want to consider putting something like this into your box in Bergplaats when you start going down, for slightly more protection on the hands, because the hands and the head are typically the two parts that get quite cold quite quickly. So a good set of winter gloves is always not a bad idea, just to bring along, just in case you might need them.
Yeah, and I think that, and also starting with a good quality normal glove when you start out riding is quite important. Once again, with the very terrain and all of those things, it's quite an important element, gloves. And your hands and feet, we just spoke about socks for your feet, and then your hands is the next one. So
that's it.
Definitely. Then I think the last item on our discussion point, this is just a outer shell, which is basically a windbreaker. It's a full length one with a hood as well. It also folds down into its own pocket, and it will be similar, as small as what the rain jacket looked like, even smaller because it's a thinner material. And once again, it's all depending on the weather conditions, what the prediction is and what we're going to do. But this is, if it's not a super cold and raining point, maybe this would be a good one to ride with you. It depends, I would almost take this rather than a gilet, because you've got a hood and you've got a full length arms to take with you. But yes, my gut feel is it's always better to over prepare and just have a proper rain jacket with you all the way through. It is, as soon as you start getting into this area where we are now, you'll have mountains all around you, and in mountains weather change quickly. It's in the name, it's mountain biking. You're gonna be there, and you're gonna be in the elements. Yeah. Harald, anything else from our washing line?
I think that's it. Some super kit here, and I think just come prepared. It's like everything else, like your training, like your nutrition. Make sure you have everything you need. You might not need it all, might not use it all, but at least have it with you and not regret it later.
Cool. I think we're quite keen for some breakfast now, and then from there we'll move on to our next episode. Thanks for joining us for episode 8. This is the Trans Baviaans podcast. See you on the next one.
Thanks. Bye.